Thank you for joining us on this week's Cooking Kitchen. This recipe is on the upper bound of our $3 per serving budget for the series, but hopefully some of you will still be able to enjoy it. We are doing a crispy lemon chicken. It's a nice, fresh tasting way to make chicken that still tastes flavorful. The first thing you're going to need is chicken, obviously. We are only using 2 of these 4 breasts today. Some breadcrumbs. These are my favorite breadcrumbs. They have parsley and parmesan in them, but obviously plain works just as well. You can also add some parsley, some flour, some olive oil, lemons. The recipe calls for 3, but I found that 2 was sufficient. Garlic powder. I somehow didn't have any garlic powder in my cupboard, so I just left it out, but you should include it if you have it. And salt and pepper as always. For materials, you're going to need 2 mixing bowls, one for the wet mixture and one for the dry, a frying pan, a measuring cup, and a grater for zesting. The wet mix starts off with 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I kind of eyeballed this. And then the zest of 3 lemons, but like I said before, I zested 2 and I found that was definitely enough. This recipe easily fed 3 adults. We even had some leftovers, but obviously I also made a side salad to go with it, so that's why maybe we had less. I always recommend having a salad or a vegetable on the side, especially for dishes where the main dish is fried. Lemons are a great way to add flavor to any dish. They're not very expensive and you can find them pretty much anywhere. Next, we're going to start the dry mix by adding half a cup of breadcrumbs, half a cup of flour, some pepper. I put a lot of pepper. I like the way that lemon pepper mixture tastes together. This is where you would add 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, but I didn't have garlic powder. And then again, mix that all up. Okay, now for the chicken, like I said before, we are only using 2 of the chicken breasts today because chicken is more difficult to cook all the way through when you have a really thick piece. I like to sort of cut it into cutlets like this and just thinner pieces so that I can make sure that everything is cooked all the way through, but it's not dried out. Then I'm just adding some oil to a frying pan. I used vegetable oil. The recipe did call to use olive oil, but olive oil is quite expensive, so I just used vegetable oil and it worked just fine. We're turning that to a medium-high heat, just so the oil is hot enough to fry the chicken. Then you're going to dip the chicken in the lemon and olive oil mixture. It was a little bit weird at first because you have to sort of distribute the zests all the way around, but it worked out in the end, especially when you start to get it really saturated. It slips and slides and it spreads quite nicely. And then you're going to dip it in the breadcrumb and flour mixture. Make sure you get a lot of breadcrumbs on here. The first few pieces I didn't get a lot of breadcrumbs, and I just found that it didn't look as nice when it was finished. And then you're just going to put it in the hot oil. On the side, I got a plate and put a paper towel down just to dry the excess oil off when the chicken comes off and it's finished. And I also just put some slices of the lemon that I had zested into the pan. It just sort of lets the lemon juice release into the pan and just adds a little bit more lemon flavor. You should also always make sure to cut your chicken open and make sure that it is cooked all the way through. To do this, just take a knife and stab the thickest part of the chicken, open it up, take a look, make sure it's not pink. I also found that with this recipe I had to clear the oil in between my fries because a bunch of the breadcrumbs came off and then burned in the pan. I'm not sure if I had it on too hot or maybe there was too much flour in the breadcrumb mixture. I'm not sure. I don't deep fry a lot. I used the time when it was frying to make my side salad. If you guys are interested in a really easy salad recipe, I make a salad almost every day. My favorite way to do it is just to take whatever you have in your fridge, like cucumber or pepper or tomato or olives, whatever you have, and a little bit of cheese. And then you just put that over some mixed greens or some lettuce or whatever. And I also just add a little bit of balsamic vinegar and some olive oil and some salt. And I promise it tastes so good every time. Okay, and then when it was done, I just served it up on a plate with my side salad, and this is how it looked. Thank you guys so much for watching.